This is honestly one of the most valuable systems that I use in my journal, so I want to make sure you know how to do it too. Hello team, today we are going to be talking about the Alastair method, what it is, who made it, how it works, and some examples of how you can use it in your journal to help organize your tasks, events, etc. As I said, I love this system, so let's dive in. The original Alastair method system was shared by Alastair Johnson back in November of 2015. And in his original method, he was looking to organize future events in his journal. Rather than just using the original future log system, where you have a designated space on a spread to write the events for any given month, in his new system, you would write the months out vertically in the top left corner of the page to make a series of columns, and then list your events horizontally beside these, putting in their specific dates. To get a quick visual of which events are happening in which months, he put a dot in the relevant monthly column next to that event entry. This meant that when it came to populating his monthly, he could just scan his eyes quickly down the relevant column to pull out the necessary events. This was an awesome tweak to the original future log because you didn't have to put in any guesswork as to how much space you were going to need for each month. You didn't pre-section out spaces for the months individually, instead you just had all of your events in a list. Although the events were all in a list together, you could still easily pull out which month they belong to given the columns on the side. So events were still easily referenceable, but you didn't have to worry about wasted or not enough space. Since then, the Alastair method has been shared pretty widely, and there are quite a few different variations of it now. Rather than just using it as a future log, you can also use it to help schedule your task list, to help contextualize your task list, or you could use it for projects. Looking at it in its most simple form though, any layout that utilizes this method really just has two main parts. One is the list of entry items, so these could be tasks, events, projects, etc. And the second is the vertical descriptions that give the columns for assigning the entry items. These vertical descriptors could either be broken down by time, so which month or day something has to be done on, or it could be something else, like project action steps. In setting this up, people sometimes like to highlight their columns to make it easier to see what has been assigned to each of those descriptors. One of the main ways that I like to use the Alastair method is part of my weekly setups to organize a large task list into the days that I either planned to do something, started working on something, or completed something. Our two parts here consist of the task list on the right-hand side, and for our columns we have the days of the week. To schedule a task to any day, I'll just put a dot or a bullet beside that task underneath the initial for the relevant day. So this one here is underneath the T for Thursday. To signify that the task has been started or that I've worked on it, I'll put a slash, and then once the task is actually completed, I can cross it off. Something that I also like to include when I use the Alastair method in my weeklies is a column that's just for putting in the crosses. This is mainly just so I can scan my eyes down that column to see what tasks are still open or which ones haven't I actually finished. Something else that I also like to do when I'm using the Alastair method on my weekly spreads is to nest my tasks. So for instance, we have a main task here, which is laundry, and then underneath this I put an indent to write out wash, dry, put away, and put away old. This is so I can see that the laundry task is actually made up of 4 smaller tasks. Another way that I'll use the Alastair method is for my project work. So in particular for any series of projects that have a similar set of tasks that I need to do for them. One example of this is lesson planning, where I have a similar set of tasks that I do for each of the lessons in a topic. The way that I've filled these ones in is a little bit more decorative, so rather than just crossing off when I've done something, I filled it in so that it makes this pattern. Filling it in decoratively is of course not necessary, but I do think it makes it more visually appealing and it's something that I like to do. But you can see here for the 2 sections, we have a list of the lessons, and then our columns are made up with the different things I need to do for each of those lessons. So writing my learning objectives, identifying success criteria, figuring out what the activities are going to be, etc. Another example is the collection of tasks that I do to make video content. So for this one, I've kind of switched the sections around. So rather than having our list of items here and the tasks to be done for each of them along the top, instead I've flipped those around. So we have each of the videos listed along the top here, and all of the steps that I need to do in making those videos listed down the side. This was mainly just because of the number of videos that I'm actually making this month, but you can see it still gives me a very good visual representation of my progress through each of those projects. As I do a task for any of the videos, I can just cross off the relevant box underneath that video title. So for instance, currently I'm working on the Alastair method video, and I have just finished doing my overhead footage. Like I said, I really love the Alastair method because it's a really flexible tool that can help you organize large amounts of information. I'd love to know how you're using the Alastair method, or if you're not currently, are you thinking about using it now? If you are looking for more bullet journal tips and ideas, I do have a mega playlist of those on the screen here, which you can check out. But otherwise, team, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye!